sometimes I view our lives as an experiment. It's like we have like an avatar or like a clone of kind of our personality or our soul or who we are, and it's like we don't have any memory of any of our other lives or anything, but we're experiencing a specific thing here and kind of testing and experimenting, maybe, even though there's other forces at play also probably doing that to us. I mean, we could have just done it for the experience, to like know what it's like. Can't really know what something's like until you really do it and experience it. The felt presence of experience. That's like, it's kind of like an image or a picture or a painting is worth 1,000 words. It's like when you experience something, there's so much information there. It's more than just a word can express, you know. There's so much going on there. One thing I've noticed in our evolution, or our psychic evolution, I guess, is we've just been inundated with information, like with reels, and these reels on these platforms, it's kind of, with all the going from video to video, it's kind of done something to our attention span, and there's just so much information out there that it's kind of like we lose a sense of like wonder and what's special, like when you encounter someone who's really gifted at something. And I mean, I've kind of experienced this with myself and seeing like fantastic virtuistic guitarists, and you know, I do what I do. It's different. I don't see it as like less good or anything. It's different. I don't think of like guitar players as like better than others. There's just like different levels of advancement. But yeah, on a whole different note, we have needs as humans, and like really all I wanted in this life is, of course, the creativity, which is happening but feels kind of stifled just by how dense this existence is in our psychic space, and how just arduous the most simple things can be sometimes, as far as just staying focused. And really our needs, I've mentioned this in other videos, but we have needs for community, we have needs for solitude, for times of solitude, and we have need as humans for intimacy. And so it's not like we have like that many needs, but it's hard to even get those simple ones to happen for a lot of people. And I'd be fine with not having those needs, at least I think I would. Like to be fulfilled by just my art, which some people seem to have been able to achieve that. Unfortunately, I'm not really one of those people. I was at one point, but at 36, it must be my genetics, but it's like there is a gap where like I don't have some of these things, as far as financial independence and intimacy, and even just having my own space. Like, I'm out here in Washington, it's so expensive to get at home, and gas prices are expensive here. It's really tough. Like, I think everyone, I mean, I've been working my whole life, never been on welfare or anything, and worked my butt off, and I struggle to save, so that's on me. But I really, I've had jobs like ever since I graduated from $10 an hour, and now it's up to $20 an hour, which is great, but it's like, that's not enough. Like, I feel like minimum, like people should make like 50 grand a year. It's just me. Which I haven't ever. I would like to. Because then I could really save, I could actually like at least be just barely able to like finance my house, which I don't have. Thankfully I have good roommates, and I do live in a pretty spacious home, which is nice. But yeah, anyways, going back to the felt presence of wonder, it's just we're like lacking that. We're lacking the hype. I mean, there's hype, but there's like generally there's not much hype. It's like people are like not impressed by things or people's talent, I've noticed. And it used to not be quite so much like that, but it seems to be becoming more and more that way. And yeah, what do we do about it? Maybe it will come back. I don't know. But it's the world we live. So many people are jaded and bereft, and they don't have their basic needs met, so they're not like comfortable enough to be more involved in community. Of course there's some people who are. But I'm speaking like generally, like amongst the petri dish of people I know. And I do know people that are thriving, or at least appear to be thriving. But a lot of people aren't. And I mean, it's like maybe I'm just stating the obvious. But I think it's something we should think about. We should like recognize these things. Like there's something so special about our existence when you're inspired by something, when you see something that like moves you, and like it's that felt presence of inspiration or passion or love for something. It doesn't even have to be a person. I remember early on when I was in gymnastics, I thought it was the most incredible thing when people could be flexible or like do these like flips and all these different calisthenics. I was so fascinated by that. And it's like these things come and go, you know, fascinations and inspirations through life. It's kind of like we get enlightened into the felt presence of a certain thing, and we see the aesthetic of it, and we're just like enthralled by that. But that seems to be less and less. And I guess what I'm getting at is we're kind of spiritually impoverished. It kind of feels like. And the only reason I'm able to recognize that is because I have had times in my life of being spiritually enriched, and it's so holistic and fulfilling and wholesome, and like you feel whole. But that just it doesn't sustain very well on the naturally. Like it doesn't seem to sustain. And I mean, I'm fine with like, you know, some dips, some valleys, just to experience that and get contrast. But there's just so much valley. There's so much difficulty. And it really has helped me have compassion for people, because I consider myself a pretty positive person, but I deal with, at times, insufferable amounts of negativity. It's like I realized it at the time, but I almost feel like kind of stuck, and I see a lot of other people in the same way. Like we wouldn't choose to have it that way if we could get into the control panel of our brain or our psyche and adjust some things to feel enriched, to get the most out of an experience. And I really would like to see that, like there be a resurgence in inspiration and I guess just enlightenment, you know? There's just such an infinitude of possibilities in the realms of imagination and creativity and wonder and bliss. because there's a variety of feeling those things. Like when you feel success over maybe getting a job you really wanted, or you find a partner that's just like matches you so well to help you be a better person, and also you're helping them be a better person, and like that kind of thing is not as common as it could be. I mean, can you really say you live the whole human experience if you don't have like sustained relationships and all these different felt presences of experiences, like maybe living in a city, living in a country, trying different mediums of art, meeting all kinds of different people. It's like getting out of the ethos that you've just been in for so long, detach from that and like feel something new, feel something different. And